Hi guys, I'm Chris the Ultimate Recycler and welcome to my emergency storage shed. We're doing an unboxing every week. If you're new to the channel, hang around for a little bit, you might be quite interested. I'll try and get straight into things today because apparently a lot of people drop off in the first 30 seconds and I'm trying to stop that. We have lots of boxes to go through, lots of amazing treasures to discover. Let's have a quick look and we'll take one through to the bench straight away. And here's my trusty mascot Coco just checking things out. We are making some good space. We're nearly at the back of the shed, but there's still a lot of boxes to go. This box will do today. It's full of, I don't know what. I can't even pick what the top thing is. It might be a railway lantern, I'm not sure. Let's get it through to the bench and we'll discuss where these things came from while we're unpacking it. So I feel like I need to keep the energy levels up at the start of the video so that you guys hang around. Hopefully it works. I don't want you to feel rushed. We have a Shell oil box full of interesting shed things, and have a look at the space. I can dance with a box. We did a recent video of cleaning up some space there, so the shed is gradually becoming more organised. Let's see what's in here today. So I've been an antiques and second-hand dealer in town for over 2 decades, and I've cleaned out a lot of people's sheds, deceased estates, and sometimes I haven't even packed the boxes. They've just come straight out of someone's shed as they are. And now it's time for me to sort all out. We're up to, did I say we're up to episode 171? So we've been sorting for a while. I think that is a lantern, but the glass is broken. I think that was red. Possibly a railway warning lantern or something. It would have had a little Kero burner in there. The hinge is seized up. I don't want to force it because it'll break. An interesting piece, but not in very good condition. So we'll have a bit better look at that later. I'll clean it up a little bit. So yeah, a lot of stuff's come from other people's sheds, deceased estates, sometimes an auction. We've had a shop in town for about 23 years, and we sell lots, but sometimes it got stored. Now, look at this. This is a kitchen whisk, but someone's used it to mix paint. Right, either that or the mashed potatoes were particularly thick this day. Look, the gearing still works. But yes, I've never seen one used as a paint mixer. This is a slightly different design to what we normally find. The Swift whips were very popular. This one's older. It's got a cast iron bevel gear. It's got a patent date on it. We'll see if we can find that shortly. Actually, I can read it there. 2408. Could that be 1908? If it is, that's the earliest kitchen whisk I've ever seen, and still in working order. You can whisk your paint. That's worth a little bit of a clean up. I won't be trying to get the paint off it though. A little willow billy lid. I get quite a lot of those. Sometimes I have the billies that need the lid. Good old Australian billy tea. Here we have an aluminium saucepan or possibly a canister lid. Bit Art Deco, 1950s, but the lids aren't worth much on their own. More kitchen stuff. Oh, it's an interesting ladle. It's an oval shape, like for pouring. Wooden handle. I'd say 1950s, maybe a bit earlier. And judging by the scale, and it might have even been used to melt lead or something. People did that. Maybe making sinkers. Looks to me like it's been very, very hot. Held over a flame, perhaps. Not sure. We'll give that a clean up. We should be able to get at least $5 for that. Just a bit of random paper. Oh, we've got all sorts of things in here. This isn't really kitchen related. It's a chamber pot or a potty used back in the day when a lot of rural areas had outside toilets, and on a cold, dark, stormy night, you didn't want to have to run outside down a little narrow track to the outside dunny. So these went under the bed. And they're affectionately known, or they were known, as a gazunder because it goes under the bed. So an enamel chamber pot. It's an older one. It's been around for quite some time. It's in pretty good condition actually. Bit of a ding there, but that's what you expect to see on old enamelware. We'll clean that up. We should get, I reckon, we'll put $20 on that. Be cool for an indoor pot plant. Maybe you could make a casserole in it. Just don't tell anyone what it was. A little Art Deco chromed matches holder. Often went next to an ashtray. Might have even been part. In fact, I think this was the top from a Art Deco ashtray stand, and this would have gone on the top, and that's where your matches went, your box of matches. I've got one of those to fix up. I don't know if I need this part, but it's not going to be very good without the chrome on it. Not kitchen related at all, a little oil can, not overly old, perhaps 1970s or so, but it actually feels like it would pump oil pretty well. I won't just squeeze it all over the bench. Let's use an old rag. Do we have oil in it? Feels like it pumps, but it's possibly empty. We should get $10 for that. A tin which was Bourneville cocoa, Cadbury's it was, and it's got something in it. Could it actually be cocoa? Cocoa? Oops. No. Oh, this, I know what this is. They're shellac flakes for melting in methylated spirits and for finishing off your furniture with a nice shellac. I have got some other shellac flakes somewhere. I will keep those. Not that I do a lot of furniture restoration, but I would like to down the track, perhaps when we don't have the shop anymore. Tang. Who remembers Tang? That came out in the 70s. I know my dad was actually running a local grocery store in a small country town when this was first promoted. So 70s, it's 1 litre. Don't think the jar really has any value. And you'll notice there's no barcode. Generally, in Australia at least, barcodes started in the early 1980s. I think in the US a little bit earlier. And this is full of old hinges, furniture hinges. All sorts of hinges. Quite rusty. We'll tip them out and have a look through in case there's something a bit more exciting down the bottom. Unfortunately, the jar itself probably really isn't worth anything. If the label was in better condition, I'd probably put a bit on it, but I think it's had water in it or something. That's why everything's gone rusty. Okay, we move from the kitchen to the laundry. A nice old enamel iron. The cord's obviously no good, but the actual iron looks pretty good. That will clean up quite well. HMV. Can you read that? I would have said His Master's Voice, but I don't know that HMV, famous for record players and radios, ever made kitchen or laundry irons. I have to check that out. What else? Oh, I've got some little knickknacks in the bottom. Here's a really cool looking torch with the big glass domed lens on the end. That's not actually even chipped. It's in great condition. Made in Hong Kong, which would indicate to me it's probably 1970s. Has it still got corroded batteries in it? I don't think so. It doesn't feel very heavy. No. Actually, it looks pretty clean. Might nearly even work. Wonder if it's got a globe in it. I'll give it a clean up and we'll test it later. See if we can get that to work. Okay, whoops, we've just dropped a razor blade and something else. This is looks like a leather belt. Some sort of adjustable buckle. I don't know what that's from. It's almost like, reminds me of a strop for sharpening a razor, but you don't get that sort of elaborate buckle on the strop. I think that came from there. Yep, don't know what that is. Oh, there's another one. Oh, perhaps they're just braces. Are they? They're adjustable. The leather doesn't feel... Oh, that slides through. That leather's better on that one than the other one. Not sure. Down here we have a couple of nice old keys. I'll give them a buff up on the wire wheel. Get $10 each for old keys. I sometimes keep them because I have old locks and there's not usually too many different sorts of keys, and sometimes you can modify them to suit an old lock. So they're good value for me. Some brass taps. That one looks pretty new, actually. So brass is worth a lot these days. It's up nearly at I think about $10 a kilo. But we're going to get, I'll have to get at least $10 for that tap, and it won't weigh a kilo. There's another one here. So they should be $10 each. I don't think they've been used. Right, we have a little Dunlop cycle repair outfit. That's for mending punctures. There's nothing in it. But these tins are collectible. It's in pretty good nick on top. We'll give it a bit of a clean up. It's got the rough thing on the bottom, and I think that was for roughing up the tube so that the glue would bond better to the rubber. Some matchboxes have that for obviously striking a match, but I'm sure that would be for roughing the tube up. Okay, we have a couple of little lamp parts here. Yeah, they're both different. They're just for a little oil lamp, kerosene lamp. So it's just the burners or parts thereof. Yeah, I do have a box for lamp parts. I will be fixing some up later on. I have a box of antique lamps to go through one day. A fishing lure. Nils Master. It's got a barcode, so it's more recent. And the plastic packaging would indicate more recent as well. Take that tape off. I'm not sure what sort of value that would have. It looks like it's never been used. Maybe it hasn't, maybe it's been put back in the box. All right, we'll check that out. I'm not a fisherman, I'm not sure what that would be worth. Now, a vinyl case with RJN. I'm guessing it's going to be like men's grooming stuff, maybe a clothes brush. Yes, it is a grooming set. So that's a soap container. And I know that because it says soap. I'm pretty perceptive, hey? Oh, it's broken, unfortunately. It's still got soap in it. How about that? Yeah, the top's been broken. It looks like it's a Bakelite one. It's a shame that's broken, actually. Yeah, this would probably date to the 30s or maybe 40s. Quite Art Deco. That's a nice little container, and that's not broken. What's in that one? A razor, maybe? Yes, oh, that's nice. Probably a Gillette, is it? Oh, yeah, it says Gillette on the lid. You can see that in the reflection there, made in England. Really nice little Bakelite case. Looks like it has some new blades in packets there. Both sides, yep. Brand new Gillette blades. And these little shavers. Is this the one where you wind? Oh, no, you don't. Some of them you wind the bottom and the top opens like an alien spaceship. This one, I think, yeah, you just unwind the handle and the top section clamps the blade down. It's got a blade in it, actually. So a very nice Gillette razor in a extremely nice Bakelite Art Deco case. I think that's nearly worth selling separately. I don't think the whole set really is worth that much, you know, with the soap container broken. This other one's just a clothes brush. It's not in bad condition. But I like the design on the little shaving box. And I guess these spots would have been for like a shaving brush or two. And what, it even has a toothbrush, but that's a more modern toothbrush. Bexel, made by British Xylonite. Oh, it's an old toothbrush. And I'm not sure what that is. Can't quite read the label. There's a comb that's wrapped up in plastic. That says Bexel as well. Maybe we'll leave it together. But normally I wouldn't put a whole large price on something like this. But because we could get a fair bit for that razor in the Art Deco box there, I think I'd get $20 or $30 for that on its own. The soap container undamaged would probably get at least 10, but damaged it wouldn't get much. Hairbrush, the clothes brushes we get quite a lot of. But as I said, perhaps we'll put, oh no, perhaps we'll put 50 on it. And if someone comes in who, you know, let's say Robert John Neville comes in, perhaps they'll buy it. Okay, that's pretty good. What have we got down the bottom? Just a little porcelain caster from a chair. It's only a part of it. And a little cast iron wheel. I get these quite often. I'm not sure if they're off toys. Possibly would be, or even a little steam engine. I've got quite a selection of them, all different sizes. One day I'll probably sell them as a collection. So that's all we've got in here. Interesting mix though. And we have quite a nice shell oil box. I've got a couple of these in the shop and they sell fairly well. I think I've got 75 on the ones in the shop. I did sell one a little bit cheaper that was a bit damaged, but the $75 ones are still there. So perhaps that's a little bit rich for them. Maybe 50 for this one. It's in good condition, just needs a quick wash out on the lawn. Very good, I'll clean some stuff up and we'll come back with the Notepad. Okay, I've cleaned up and repaired a few things. The last thing we have to do before we look at the Notepad is just go through what's in this jar and see if it is all hinges and how badly rusty they are. Some of them aren't too bad. No, a bit rusty. They look like they're all the same. Yeah, all identical. There's one at the bottom. We'll get that one out later. So, yep, they're all the same. Sort of Art Deco, 1940s, 1950s. They're all seized up. Oh, it still moves, but only just. And these would have been on like a kitchen dresser cabinet, something like that. What are we going to do with these? I could just tip them in the scrap metal, but someone might have a use for them. Someone might be looking to match one on a project. I think I'll actually leave them in this tub, not even cleaned, and just put $5 a lot on them at the shop. And a furniture restorer might jump on them and think, beauty, that's a bargain. It's probably only about 10 cents each or something. And there's a couple of quite nice ones that would clean up okay. Yeah, they're all offset a bit. Or someone that just makes a bit of furniture might like to use these. Yeah, there's certainly going to be some usable ones. And then there's some others that are pretty rusty and seized up. Anyway, we'll try and get 5 the lot. I'll get this other odd one out of here. And the jar, I think I'll just put the jar in the recycle bin. It's just not worth the effort to clean. It's not, 1970s isn't really old enough for a jar collector. Unless the label was in really good condition, then that would add value. Yeah, I'll put that in the recycle bin. Okay, I better add this to the Notepad and then we'll see what the total is. So the Notepad for episode 171, the railway lantern, I've gone for $30. I'll show you what I've done I've done a few repairs on this lot. The what I was calling a whisk is actually an egg beater. It's a Taplin one, and the patent date was right. It is very early 1900s. There's quite a lot of them on eBay, but I think I'll get 20 for that. What else have we got that was worth mentioning? The torch, I couldn't find the right batteries for it. It's just here. Both your standard AA and what's that one, a C size, I think these are. Neither of them fit. It's just the in-between size. So old batteries must have been a different size. But I've cleaned it up. It will actually work. I did put a little bit of power on it and the globe flashed and it blew. So it does need a new globe, but it actually would work and it cleaned up really well. So I'll go 15 on that. But yeah, you can't get batteries for them. It'd be easy to wire up something, I guess. Those things weren't braces. They are razor strops. I was right in the first guess. I'm not exactly sure how they work, but that's what they are. Leather strops for sharpening a cutthroat razor. This one's a bit damaged. That one's quite good. We've gone 20 the pair on those. The keys cleaned up quite well. The taps, as mentioned. The fishing lure, they seem to sell okay. They're made in Finland. This one's just here. And this one actually did have a price on the back I didn't notice. $20.40, which would have been retail price. I think I'll still get $20 for it. They seem to sell okay on eBay. The grooming set I've gone $40, the shell oil box $50, the deco hinges we just saw at $5, so $310. A really good box lot and a really interesting range. So let's go through some things. Well, you can have a quick look how things cleaned up. There are the keys. The taps were fine. I'm keeping these bits and pieces here. I didn't mention those. And yeah, everything cleaned up. The chamber pot cleaned up quite nicely. And I did a few repairs. Oh, there's the iron. It came up well too. Oh, incidentally, HMV, His Master's Voice, do make a lot of appliances. They made fridges. Well, I know they made TVs, but also they made household appliances. So that's a pretty cool iron. The men's grooming set, I did repair as best I could the soap container. You can still see that it was cracked, but I've glued it together. It looks a lot better. and I've cleaned it out. Still got a little bit of soap in there. So that one's quite a nice, almost intact set. I'm not sure when it went in that spot, but everything else appears to be there. So we're going to try 40 on that because, as I said, I would get 20 to 30 just for that razor. And the thing I spent a little bit of time on, which looked incredibly rough when we first saw it, is this railway lantern. Now, I've done a poor man's restoration. I scrubbed it up in hot soapy water, got rid of all the grime, and just sprayed it with a clear lacquer. I did straighten the top, it was a bit bent. And the glass piece I took out and glued the pieces together. It is red. Hang on, I've got a torch here somewhere. Here we go. And I freed up the hinges, so it now opens. I cleaned up inside a bit. You can see it was painted white, presumably for its reflective ability, and it would have had a little Kero burner in there. But if let's put the torch in there, and you can see through the glass. So even though it's obviously cracked, I have glued it together. The frame inside was a bit loose. I just put a few dabs of silicone to hold the frame in position, and it actually makes a pretty cool display now. Doesn't have a hanging handle. This one would have been screwed permanently to something, maybe at a railway station, but it actually cleaned up pretty nicely. It was painted black, and even though it looked pretty rusty, by cleaning it down and spraying it with a clear lacquer, it really looks the part. So I reckon we'll get $30 for that, but you're not getting my torch. And you can pick up the little burners around the traps that just sit in there. They're a pretty simple little burner. Actually, they had similar type burners to what these are, just sitting on a little tank that held kerosene. That was it, I think. Other than that, we just cleaned up a bit of stuff. And we have a really interesting mix. The shell box is pretty good. I just gave it a brush outside, and I put 50 on that. I think we should sell it very easily. I will drop the price on the ones at the shop. I had 75 on them. I think they're a little bit better than this one, so we might go 60 on those. We need to move them on. But a nice display this week from a real mixed bag in one box. $310. Beauty. And that takes the total from the emergency storage shed to just over $32,000. It's amazing how it adds up, isn't it? We've still got a lot of boxes to go, and as you've seen from this box, there can be some pretty good value in a small box. So that's going well. Now, before I go, many thanks to Martin, who comments regularly. I think Martin's in the UK, and he mentioned with that oscilloscope that we tested last week, how we didn't have much of a tracer. It was very faint. He made a very good point that the dim bulb tester the bulb that was glowing was actually taking a fair bit of power away from it. And those old valve units or tubes in the States do require pretty much full power to operate properly. I plugged it in without the dim bulb tester now that that had established that there was no direct short, and here's a photo of it working. So the thing actually works perfectly. The signal on it's just from me holding the lead. So it works great. It probably needs calibrating or something, but it's in operational condition. I'm even more tempted to keep it now, but it is in the shop at $200. And it can sit there as a great display piece, and if it doesn't sell, I won't be too upset. Thanks for watching, guys. Another episode done and dusted. We'll be back into that shed next week. In the meantime, there'll be lots of shop unboxings going on. I've got a few other different videos that I'm squeezing in, a couple of repairs and things like that. And also, the membership thing's going very well. I've got some great supporters joining all membership tiers. I really appreciate that. It's helping keep the channel going in these turbulent times, and we do have to look forward to our future without a shop income, so that's kind of important for us. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate you, and I'm glad that a lot of you appreciate me. It's a great relationship. We'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.